One half of the NBA Finals has been set. The Phoenix Suns find themselves in the playoffs for the first time in 28 years, and you can thank CP3 and the rest of the Suns for doing that. The Milwaukee Bucks got the job done in Game 5 despite no Giannis, and Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday really stepped up. The big question is, will Giannis be back in time for Game 6? That we don't know. But right now, the Hawks without Trae Young are in trouble. The New York Mets and the New York Yankees face off in the Subway Series, and the Boston Red Sox head to the West Coast to keep their big AL East lead as the Oakland A's are fighting to stay atop to try to get back out in front of the American League West. That and more today on the Scott Manning YouTube Weekend Kickoff Show. And a good Friday afternoon to all of you. It is now time for the Scott Manning YouTube Weekend Kickoff Show. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here on this Friday. We have a lot to talk about here in about the next 20 minutes to half hour or so. So I'm going to be here for a while. We got a lot to talk about. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let them be known. And I'll be happy to take any comments that you guys have during the show. We're going to go right into it, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. Let's get started. Wednesday night, in Game 6 of the NBA West Finals, the Phoenix Suns beat the Los Angeles Clippers 130-103, and they have punched their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time in 28 years. It was an unbelievable victory, and this was a Suns team that came together because of CP3. It had been 10 years since the Phoenix Suns made it to the playoffs. Now they are in, and I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. And to be quite honest with you, I feel like just saying this about the Suns right now. And it was a beautiful opportunity, and the Suns are at the moment are thinking,
House of pleasure, house of pleasure.
Let's think about this. In Game 6, Chris Paul, 41 big points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. Devin Booker, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Jay Crowder, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. He didn't have to do much. DeAndre Ayton, 16 points, 17 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks. CP3, Booker, Crowder, and Ayton, they shot 40 of 71 from the field combined in their Game 6 victory. They shot 56% from the floor, 54% from beyond the arc, and they led by 28 at one point in Game 6. And they dominated points in the paint 54-34. That's the reason why the Phoenix Suns punched their ticket into the NBA Finals. But for the Los Angeles Clippers, it wasn't much to brag about. Marcus Morris Sr., 26 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. Paul George, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Reggie Jackson, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. And Patrick Beverley, and I'm going to talk about him especially here in just a second, and I'm not very happy with him. 11 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. The Clippers in Game 6 only shot 41.8% from the floor. They only shot 30% from beyond the arc, but they did pretty well at the free throw line, shooting 78.1%. Now, those 4 players that I mentioned who were in double figures, Morris, George, Jackson, and Beverley, they only shot a combined 23 of 51 from the field, and that was it. But I want to talk about Patrick Beverley for a minute. He is, without a doubt, the biggest Bush League cheap shot artist I've ever seen in the NBA. Beverley got ejected from Game 6 for shoving CP3. And I'm going to tell you something. If this would have happened back in the 80s, Beverley would have got mugged. Because I know how it was back in the old days of the old NBA. I grew up in those days of the benches clearing, fireworks on the floor, where the police would have to sometimes get involved. Patrick Beverley should be ashamed of himself. And then the next day, he goes on Twitter and gives a half crap apology to CP3. He's like, My bad. No. I hope CP3 did not accept that apology. If Patrick Beverley would have shoved me like that, and he tried to say, I'm sorry, my bad, I would have said, nope, I would not have accepted it in 2 seconds. Patrick Beverley should be ashamed of himself for the way he conducted himself in Game 6. I know the Clippers were losing and they got humiliated on their home court. I understand that. But that does not mean you get to go walk over to the Phoenix bench, shove CP3, and that's a bunch of garbage. Beverley should be ashamed of himself. And that's all I'm going to say. And I hope he gets fined and gets suspended for the start of next season. Then we'll see how funny it is. Because he says, oh, I'm sorry. I'll tell you right now. I just saw something where Shannon Sharp did not buy his apology at all. He was like, he had his fingers crossed and all that. He don't know what that means. It's ridiculous. He's hoping CP3 will accept his apology. But you know what? I wouldn't. And right now, Patrick Beverley should be ashamed of himself, and I'm thinking this. Patrick Beverley should be fined and suspended for his actions in Game 6. And that's all I have to say. But to the Phoenix Suns, you guys are in the NBA Finals, and you earned it. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, let's move on. Last night, in Game 5 of the NBA East Finals, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Atlanta Hawks 123-112, despite not having Giannis in the lineup. Now, you know Giannis Antetokounmpo was hurt. He fell awkwardly and hurt his knee. The good news is an MRI showed he has no structural damage. And there was also some good news that he was actually doing pretty well doing well at workouts. That's good news. But his return is still in the air. And I'll tell you right now, no Giannis, no problem. The Bucks took care of business. 4 players for the Bucks scored 20 points or more. Here's what I mean. Brook Lopez in that 123-112 victory in Game 5, Brook Lopez, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 blocks. He was the roadblock that the Atlanta Hawks had to deal with all night. Chris Middleton, 26 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Drew Holiday, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 13 assists, and 1 steal. Bobby Portis, we don't get to call his name much. 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. He was the stealer of the show. And if you think about what the Milwaukee Bucks did, they shot 50% from the floor, and despite the fact they only went 9 of 29 from beyond the arc for only 31%, they found other ways to get the job done. They shot 72% at the free throw line. That was a big plus right there. And the 4 players that I mentioned in double figures for the Bucks, Lopez, Middleton, Portis, and Holiday, those 4 guys right there, they shot a combined 42 of 78 from the floor. That was huge. Brook Lopez, he was 14 of 18 from the field for the game. Middleton, he shot 10 of 20. He was at 50%. Portis and Holiday, they were both 9 of 20 for the game. And points in the paint, they dominated 66-36 in Game 5. And I'll tell you right now, they had the Atlanta Hawks in trouble all game long. And that's all I can say about that. But for the Atlanta Hawks, they did not have Trae Young in the lineup, and I think that was a huge mistake. But Bogdan Bogdanovic, he had 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. John Collins, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Daniel Gallinari, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist in the game. And Lou Williams, he did a great job in Game 4. He only had 17 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. And that was it. And those 4 players I mentioned, Collins, Bogdanovic, Gallinari, and Williams, they only shot a combined 30 of 64 for the game back in Game 5. And here's the sad part. They only shot 45.6% from the floor. And that was it. They couldn't hit anything. And but they did shoot 39.5% from beyond the arc. That's 15 of 38 if you're keeping score at home. and they shot 78.9%. They did better than the Bucks at the free throw line, but it wasn't enough. And the sad part about this was the Atlanta Hawks never led in the game at all. That's what the sad part is. Now the question is for Game 6 Saturday night. Will Trae Young play? He's going to have to. Trae Young is going to almost have to play. Now Game 6 will be in Atlanta at the State Farm Center. Now the Hawks are reeling. Now they got to force a Game 7 to have any chance at all. It's do or die for Atlanta on Saturday night. And that's all there is to it. And I think everybody now knows it. But here's the deal. If Trae Young plays in Game 6 and Giannis doesn't, the Atlanta Hawks might be in trouble because the Milwaukee Bucks did prove that they can win without Giannis in the lineup. And it was shown, and they showed it in Game 5 on Thursday night. And I'm going to tell you this: the Phoenix Suns, they're just sitting back, chilling, and they're sitting back and waiting. See who they're going to have to face. If it's the Milwaukee Bucks, they're going to be in. The Suns are. No matter what happens here, the Phoenix Suns are going to be in for a battle. Everybody's saying this year's NBA champion is going to come from the NBA East. We'll have to wait and see on that. However, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who wants it the most. And that's the truth of the matter on this weekend. All right, enough of the NBA. Let's move on to Major League Baseball. We have two huge series this weekend, and they're big ones. The New York Mets against the New York Yankees. Now, it is the Subway Series, people. I know the Yankees are struggling, but the New York Mets are leading the NL East right now. Now, the Nationals face the Dodgers this weekend. I'm not going to worry about that series right now. I'll get to that another time, and I may have something about that on the wrap-up show on Sunday night. But the Mets face the Yankees in a big, big series this weekend. Tonight's matchup, and this is tonight's matchup on the MLB Network. The New York Mets will face the New York Yankees. Tonight, for the New York Mets, the Mets will be sending Taijuan Walker to the mound. He has a 6-3 record with a 2.38 ERA and 82 strikeouts to his credit. And the New York Yankees will be sending Jordan Montgomery. He has a 3-2 record with a 4.06 ERA and 80 strikeouts to his credit. The Saturday matchup, and this is a Saturday matchup on Fox. Marcus Stroman will be going for the Mets. He has a 6-6 record, but he does have a 2.45 ERA and 78 strikeouts to his credit. And he will be facing Garrett Cole. He has an 8-4 record with a 2.66 ERA and 129 strikeouts to his credit. That's the one I'm looking forward to. Then on Sunday Night Baseball, this is the Sunday night game, and this matchup is kind of an interesting one. The Mets will be sending Tyler McGill. He has a 4.82 ERA and 12 strikeouts to his credit. He must have been called up because that's all I can figure out. And the Yankees will be sending Michael King. He's winless on the season with an 0-4 record, but a 4.06 ERA and 38 strikeouts to his credit. Those matchups are very interesting. I love these matchups for a lot of reasons. I forgot to write down the team ERA and team batting averages for this series, and I do apologize for that. However, I love this matchup for a lot of reasons. I'm going to tell you right now, if you look at some of the hitting numbers that the Mets and the Yankees have put up, despite the fact the Yankees are struggling, and I'll get to the Yankees a little bit more here in just a second. But first for the New York Mets, Pete Alonso, the best hitter that the Mets have. He has a 260 batting. He's hitting 260 right now with a 344 on base percentage, 13 home runs and 40 RBIs. Dominic Smith. He has a 249 batting average, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, and he leads the team in hits with 61. And James McCann, he's hitting 248, 7 home runs, and 28 RBIs to his credit this season. Looks real good for the Mets. But for the Yankees, it has been an up and down season, mostly down. But Aaron Judge, right now he's hitting .288 with an on-base percentage of .382, 18 home runs and 42 RBIs. DJ LeMahieu, right now, he's hitting .273 with 7 home runs, 33 RBIs. He leads the team in hits with 84. Giancarlo Stanton, right now he's hitting .269 with 14 home runs, 39 RBIs. That's basically going to be the bulk of your matchup right there. But I want to talk about the New York Yankees a little bit more. Before the season started, I had the Yankees winning the AL East. Right now, they haven't showed me squat. But this is what I think the Yankees are thinking right now. And also, too, the Yankees are a train wreck like you wouldn't believe. The New York Yankees right now better be lucky that the Baltimore Orioles are the worst team in all of Major League Baseball, one of the worst teams in the league. If it weren't for the Orioles being 24 games below 500, the Yankees would be dead last in the division. Right now, the New York Yankees are finding themselves next to last in the AL East. And they're having a huge matchup against the Mets, and the New York Mets are in a dogfight with the Washington Nationals in the National League East right now. I had picked the Mets to win the East because of Pete Alonso and originally because of Francisco Lindor. Now, Lindor is hitting .213. Lindor is getting better. But is 10 years, $341 million worth it? Lindor has had his struggles this season. But I'll just say this. I got a feeling that the Mets are going to win the NL East, but the Yankees are just going in the wrong direction. But I will be happy if the Yankees don't make the playoffs. I will be super happy about that. Because, let's face it, I was raised on hating the Yankees, and that's all there was to it. The Yankees are going in the wrong direction. Now that, I don't mind one bit at all. Because personally, I'm going to enjoy it. But I will say this. The All-Star break is not that far away. And I'll address that towards the end. All right. That's one series. The next series I want to talk about is the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland A's. Now the Red Sox are leading the AL East right now. And they're one of the teams to beat. The Oakland A's right now find themselves a game and a half back of the Houston Astros in the American League West. But I'm going to talk about the series, and I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these matchups in the pitching department, I do like. And I'll get to that right now. Tonight's matchup, and this is a 9:45 game because the game's out on the West Coast. The Boston Red Sox are going to be sending Eduardo Rodriguez to the mound tonight. He has a 6-4 record with a 5.83 ERA, but he does have 93 strikeouts to his credit. Ha ha ha. The Oakland A's tonight are sending Frankie Montes. He has a 7-7 record and a 4.72 ERA, but he has 92 strikeouts to his credit. I love this matchup. We could be in for a pitcher's duel tonight out on the West Coast. We'll see about that, though. The Saturday matchup I find kind of interesting. The Red Sox are going to be sending Garrett Richards to the mound. He has a 4-5 record with a 4.96 ERA, but he does have 67 strikeouts to his credit. And the Oakland A's are going to be sending Cole Irvin. He has a 6-7 record with a 3.64 ERA and 68 strikeouts to his credit. Now, let that be interesting. Now, the Sunday matchup, I kind of find a little interesting. Nick Pivetta. That's who the Red Sox are sending to the mound. He has a 6-3 record with a 4.43 ERA, but he is one strikeout short of having 100 for the season. And if he does get it, the Red Sox will have a 100 strikeout man on their team. And the Oakland A's on Sunday are going to be sending James Kaepernick. He has a 4-2 record with a 3.06 ERA and 52 strikeouts to his credit. All these matchups I like for a lot of reasons, because the Friday matchup, Rodriguez and Montez, yes, they're 1-6-4. The other one's only doing 500, but they're up there in the strikeout range, and that's big. So the Red Sox could have 100 strikeout machines in their rotation, and that could be big going forward if the Red Sox want to win the AL East. Now, the A's, they're trying to catch the Astros, and the Astros are playing the Indians. Ugh. I think that's not what the Oakland A's wanted to hear, because right now the Indians are struggling. And that's all there is to it. And I'm not going to address Cleveland any further. All right. But let's think about the Boston Red Sox. Let's think about how hot-handed their team is. Xander Bogaerts. He's the man to beat. He's the man you'd want on your team. The man, he has a .329 batting average and a on-base percentage of .391. 13 home runs, 40 RBIs. He leads the team in hits with 95. Rafael Devers. What is he doing right now? Oh, let's see. He's hitting .288 with 20 home runs and 69 RBIs. Well, let's not forget about the designated hitter, J.D. Martinez. What is he doing right now? Oh, he's the other 300 hitter. He's hitting .305 with 17 home runs and 55 huge RBIs this season. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a good one. The Red Sox and the A's, the Red Sox are red hot, but the Oakland A's have some hot hitters. And let's think about that for a second. So what is going on? Matt Olson. He's the guy I would want on my team. He's hitting .287 with 20 home runs, 53 RBIs, and he has 80 hits to his credit. Mark Canha. He's hitting .255 right now with an OBP of .375. Oh, that could be interesting. 11 home runs and 33 RBIs. And Jed Lowry, I was hating on him. I'm going to give him another chance. Right now, he's hitting .245 with 7 home runs and 34 RBIs on this season. This is a huge matchup. The Red Sox are trying to stay in front of the AL East. The Oakland A's are trying to catch the Houston Astros in the American League West. And the Cleveland Indians are not going to help the Oakland A's any at all. And that's going to be the truth of the matter. But the bottom line is this. This series is going to be a fun one. Actually, both series. Mets-Yankees, that's going to be a blast. Red Sox-A's, that's going to be fun too. And I'm going to tell you this. Whoever can survive this has proven their worth. The All-Star break is not that far away. It's going to be fun. And that's all I'm going to say about that at this moment. All right. Let's move on to the world of motor racing, a sport that I really like the most. This weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series, for the first time ever, is going to be going to the Road America Sports Car Course. But yes, you heard it right. The Cup Series is going to Road America in beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 miles around. I've seen cars run out of gas on the final lap. I'll get back to the Indy cars I'll get to the Indy cars in a minute because they were there last weekend. But last weekend in the Cup Series, they had a doubleheader at Pocono. Alex Bowman came home the winner of the race on Saturday for the NASCAR Cup Series when, mind you, Kyle Larson had a tire go down coming to the checkered flag on the final lap. Larson finished 9th in that race. And he was disappointed as can be. He had a chance to win 4 in a row. And then it went. And then in race 2 on Sunday, Kyle Busch ran Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin dry in the gas tank when they both ran out of gas with just a few laps to go. And Kyle Busch came home the winner. And Kyle Larson came home second. What a weekend it was last weekend at Pocono. So what's going to happen this week at Road America? You're going to have to wait and see. But hopefully it will be a lot better than the Circuit of Americas like they had in Austin back in May. At least Kevin Harvick can't complain about the weather and not getting drenched and not being able to see anything this time. I shouldn't say that, but I have not forgotten what happened in Austin, Texas on their last road race. I have not forgotten about that at all. But anyway, we'll see what happens on Sunday at Road America. And that is a 2:30 race on NBC. Now, what about the IndyCar series? They're going to be in my backyard. The IndyCar series is going to be at Mid-Ohio. And that is a road race there itself. The Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, if you've never been there, it's beautiful. The layout of Mid-Ohio is the best for IndyCar racing. And that's Bobby Rahal, and that's the Rahal family's home track. That's where the Rahals love to test. Believe me. I grew up a Rahal fan because I'm from Ohio. And I've lived in Ohio all my life. But I will say this, though. The Indy cars at Mid-Ohio is going to be a blast on the 4th of July, and there's nothing that the state legislature can do about it. I shouldn't sound like that, but it is the truth. Now, last weekend at Road America, at the Road America Sports Car Course, that's where the Indy cars were last weekend, Alex Palou won his second race of the season when Simon Pagenaud's Penske Chevrolet developed an engine problem late in the race. Palou came home the winner, and surprisingly, the Penske team is winless in 2021. Some people have asked me, Scott, what's going on with the Penske team? What's going on? Well, I look at it like this. Penske he's trying to run the IndyCar series, but he's trying to run his own team too. He's trying to juggle both. So I think that's where some of the struggles are coming in. Now I have the utmost respect for Mr. Penske. Roger Penske's a good guy. Now, back in the day, I didn't like him because he used to win too much and he used to dominate. That will happen when you have one person dominating every sport. You'll get the boos because some people are like, hey, we want competition and enough is enough. That used to happen to Dale Earnhardt all the time. He used to win too much and he used to get booed. But I remember back when he won the Daytona 598, everybody was so happy for him because he'd been trying for so long. But I'll address that another time. But you know something though? The Indy cars going to Mid-Ohio that's going to be a great race. Mid-Ohio always provides a lot of action. And it's right close to my house. And it's right close to my backyard. And it's going to be a great race this weekend. And I hope you enjoy it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts. Folks, this weekend, we celebrate the 4th of July. This weekend, we celebrate the 4th of July. It's America's Independence Day. Now, the 4th of July falls on a Sunday this year. And what a 4th we're going to have. Two big races this weekend. 2 big series in Major League Baseball. As we celebrate our independence, we also want to give thanks to all the men and women who have served our country to preserve the freedoms that we have in our nation. And to all of our servicemen and women out there who are serving, who have served, we thank you so much for your service to the United States military. And I want to give a special thank you to all of my especially to my family members who are serving in the military right now. Now, I have a brother who's a colonel in the Air Force. Dennis, I love you, man. And I think about you every day. But take the time to thank our veterans. Take the time to thank all of our military servicemen and women out there. Take the time and do that. And I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to do what I do every day. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for being with me. I'll be back at 11:30 on Sunday night for the Scott Manning YouTube weekend wrap-up show, sports weekend wrap-up show. Let me say that again. I will be back at 11:30 Sunday night for the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Weekend Wrap-Up Show. We wrap up the 4th of July on a Sunday night. Guys, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with me. You guys have a great day, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody. I thank you, and God bless America.